welcome to Illuminating Rounds, episode 2 from the Scenario Archive. With me is Martin. Martin, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we are back for another episode by popular demand. I would say by popular demand. All
three comments.
Three or four comments, but yeah, absolutely. We got some good comments there. We got some great feedback. So we're back again until that stops. So people have been warned. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the top 5 accessories.
Yep.
We are going to play a scenario, which we'll talk about in a bit. We'll have a bit of story time. Anything else we're going to do?
I think that covers it.
Okay, all right. So first up then is our top 5 accessories. What do we think is the must-have accessories for ASL players?
Okay, so who's first?
You can go first. We're going to do top 5. So this is from 5 to 1.
Okay, so this is my 5th favourite ASL accessory.
Yep.
And this came out of a box of Christmas crackers. I don't even know if they have those sorts of things in
Christmas crackers
in other countries. Do they have that in other countries? Is that a British thing, or is that a? I have literally no idea.
Yeah.
Well, these come out of Christmas crackers. It's just a very small pack of playing cards, and it's just a perfect thing to use for OBA cards.
Right. Yep.
Simple as that.
And I noticed there was plenty of red when you showed
plenty of red. I've stacked this deck for when we're playing an OBA later.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly that. Okay, good stuff. So for me, my number 5 was rubber matting. So this rubber matting is really, really useful. Of course, I haven't used it today, so that's a shame. But this is really great for putting boards onto tables that don't slip. You can get this from all sorts of places. We've used that in the past, haven't we?
Yeah.
And sometimes for ASL.
Can't you use this stuff to sort of stop your children slipping in, small children slipping in the little seats and things like that?
You probably can.
I've used in that way.
Almost certainly, yeah. I mean, is that to stop them running away from playing ASL, or
there we go.
keep them playing? Yeah. All right. Okay. So number 4. What's
number 4? I bought in Aldi.
Okay.
And I remember when I found this, it was £10, which I didn't think was too bad.
Right.
And my eyesight was just beginning to become old man eyesight.
Yep.
And it's actually, I suspect you won't be able to see it very well on the thing, but it is just spectacularly good. Putting a vehicle counter under there, it shows my eyes like it's a sniper counter, and you press it and the light comes on.
Yep.
Perfect. And I know you've got one.
Yep.
And I know Sam
you
has
bought me one. Yep.
Did I buy that?
You did buy it, yeah.
Quite a few people bought these. I don't know if they're available. They're certainly not available in Aldi at the moment.
This is one of those things. If you
come back, I don't know.
If you put ASL on the side of this or MMP, these go for £35, and they sell out in.
That'd be a brilliant thing to do.
Absolutely, that's very good. Yeah, and I use mine as well. It's really, really useful. Thank you. In fact, I used it today trying to figure out the difference between a HMG and an MMG, which unfortunately was a HMG.
It was easier when you took up this hobby.
Exactly, it was. Okay, so my number 4 are precision dice. So precision dice, the key difference between precision dice is that the indents aren't indented, or they are all indented in a certain weight, so that they have the same weight on each side. I got these from a backgammon site.
Yeah.
I love them. I think they're nice and clear. I've only been asked to change dice once using these, but that was back in the day when I used to roll well. A little funny story for you. You know the intro where I roll the dice and the double one comes up and all that kind of stuff. It took me so long, genuinely, it took me so long to roll those double ones. I actually thought about giving you a call.
I could have done that, no problem.
You could have done. But yeah, that's genuinely true.
Especially with the dice I've got.
Those ones, yeah. I heard a new way to test if your dice are balanced, by the way, which is if you drop dice in a bucket of water, you think it's a punchline, no punchline, but they spin slower and they fall. And so instead of testing them 1,000 times, or what some people do, you only have to do it a few times to see if they have a natural bias one way or the other. So
amazing. I've got the Battle School dice, which I think are precision dice, aren't they? I think I won them in a tournament.
I remember starting a post once about is it wrong if you've got favourite dice? Because in theory, if you have your favourite dice, they're rolling quite well for you.
Yeah.
I wonder if you have your favourite dice. And if you
no, I'm not. I'm really not bothered. Yeah. I remember when I first started, I bought some dice for 15 pence.
Right. Okay.
In a shop, and I was quite happy playing with those, and I don't really think about it.
It's surprising how much ASL material you can get out of Christmas crackers, because there's the card, there's the thread which I've got out of Christmas cracker, and that's here somewhere, and also dice. So magnifying glass. Yeah. Ball 70 I haven't seen yet in there, but who knows. Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is my hip book. Now, my sister's a local celebrity in East London, is a bit of an artist. She's even met the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. And so she made me. I mean, she thinks this is the most bizarre hobby in the universe. I was really surprised.
As opposed to everybody else. This is very normal.
Made me a present, which was to do with my hobby. But also, there's obviously a hex map here. Now, this is meant to be the river near where I live, and this is actually look.
And this is
my lane. This is town, yeah. Yep. And this is the lane that goes up to my house. You've been there.
Yep.
And if you go that way, that's the back of my mum's. So that's actually a map of where I live.
Yep.
Okay. It's also a little tank inside. So I just use this really to write down my kind of like hit positions and things like that. And I left this one in. Normally I tear them out then and destroy them, just in case anybody wants to check them. Yeah.
Exactly that. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. My number 3 is the official pocket rulebook. I think this was a fantastic approach from MMP just to reprint the rules. Hilariously titled the pocket edition. I mean, I don't know what size pockets they think we have, or
it never occurs to me now to reach for the ring binder.
Exactly that. And I spent a lot of time, as a lot of people do. I cut all my pages out and I put them in perspex like protectors and good stuff to really do it. But this is fantastic. I also feel because it's back in print, I'm less. Like there was a time where I was really worried about going around with my rule book, just thinking, okay, if I lose it, what's going to happen? It's going to be a bit of pain to replace. But this, is brilliant. So yeah, fantastic. So good job for that. Number 2.
Yes, so number 2 is an ASL product, although it's not from MMP. This is Lefranc-Turreur, isn't it? The
Yep.
What's this called? The wrapped charts. The pocket wrap charts, and everybody seems to have these.
Yes,
don't they? In fact, so much so, like I put my name on nothing, so I always worry about the books getting muddled up. But I actually put my name on this because it went missing, and I don't even know if this is the one I originally had. And there's a couple of editions. There's a first edition. The second edition's a little bit better.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yes.
Is it the first edition?
This is the first edition. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as good as this one. And it's just got everything there, hasn't it? I mean, there's a couple of things that sometimes slightly make me wish I had the old ones. I can't remember what it is that's. I'm sure
when we play in a bit, we'll
suddenly realise. Is it like some? Yeah, they've got searching stuff. I want it was searching. I'm sure there's every now and again I come across something which probably is here, but I don't know where it is.
Right.
Whereas I would know where it was on the old charts. But for the vast majority of things, this is just so handy. It takes up just the right amount of space on. I mean, there's lots of space on this table, but very often you end up with a game where you've just got a little corner, don't you? And you can have it there.
And again with the pocket charts. The idea we've got these massive pockets somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. My number 2 is a dice tower. Now I know you're using a great dice tower as well. It's one I actually received in Secret Santa that is now yours to cherish as well. Dice towers are just useful. I think often we go to tournaments and people will use glasses and things like that. And there's been stories. I've certainly heard stories of people who you bang the dice down with the glass. Glasses break, especially down close to your hand and things like that. Quite dangerous. I mean, ASL is a game of danger after all. Paper cuts and glass shards, notwithstanding. So a dice tower, love it. I wouldn't play a game without a dice tower. I think that's kind of how I.
It's funny because when I first started, it never would have occurred to me to play with a dice tower. I played other games and things.
Right.
Throw the dice on the table or into a box or something, all sorts of things. But they're so practical. It makes. I mean, virtually every remotely serious ASL player plays with one of some sort, and you've got such an enormous variety of them. There's all Lego ones and.
Exactly. Absolutely. There's some ones made out of old boards I've seen as well, and it's great. So they can be a real work of art, and I think it's a little bit of personality as well comes out. You can kind of express yourself a little bit with a dice tower. So so that's that. Okay. So you're number 1.
My number 1. This was a special gift from a great Canadian ASLer, Indy.
Okay.
And he came over. He stayed with me, and he bought me a couple of these. I think I gave one of them to you. But this one, my surname's Barker. My grandfather was a sergeant, and there's a Sergeant Barker in the system. There's a British Sergeant Barker 8-1. Everyone says that that's probably a bit too powerful a unit for representing me. But anyway, so he even had like Sergeant Barker written on the side.
And I noticed you've done the upgrade as well, the optional extra.
The upgrade is essential, I think, really, because it means you can use them. So I'm not as skillful as some people. You see people using this incredible skill.
Don't try and take any of those counters off with this before we reveal my setup.
Indy moves things all around the board with them. Incredible
Indy
skill.
is like a surgeon with these, though. He's
a surgeon with these and the rules.
Yes, he is. He's very and also why we're going to talk about Indy all day, but he the way he just offsets these counters.
Did he subscribe?
He has. He's actually
we can talk about it.
He sent us a nice note as well, so we can. He's on our mind. I think is what we can do.
Cool.
Okay, good. So my number one is the Racco storage. So Racco storage. Back in the day when the mailing list was hot on everybody's email systems, Racco is a great storage system. It comes configurable. You have, for those that I'm sure everybody's seen these, but you have trays and you have different pots, different sizes. They stack in great containers that are portable and stackable. So number one for me, the Racco system. Nice, easy to get counters out. And you've got them as well, I've noticed.
Yes, I don't have enough for everything, but I do have like sort of one set,
And we're still talking about how to store, the optimal way to store vehicle counters.
It drives me mad. Vehicle counters drive me insane. And I've got a system that I hate, and I've got to just find something much less fiddly, more simple.
So we had to start with, I think we were probably both the same, we had kind of boxes that were like 1 to 4, I think, vehicle numbers, and 5 to 8 or whatever, and you just put them in a lump and just...
And that was fine. You could like sort of get them out and find the ones you wanted. I'm going to go back to that. I've got one of these ones now where I haven't got it with me, but where they've got little labels and they're all stacked behind the label.
Like that. Yeah. Which I think is great. I know you don't like it.
I don't like it because if you take out 6 Panzer IVs, the whole lot fall over.
Okay, like a dominoes.
Just doesn't.
Fair enough.
I didn't think that through. Hours like
there is something about getting the enjoyment out of a game that you can keep going, isn't it? That you can just let's play with storage today, or let's not play ASL. Let's clip counters. Let's do something. And you don't clip counters either, so that's something that
I don't do anything. I mean, if I could not organise, if I was rich, I'd pay someone to organise my counters and put them away at the end of the game. When my son was 4, he was fascinated enough that he would come down after I'd been playing late at night. He'd come down in the morning, and when I'd come down, he'd put all the counters away, except the vehicles.
Okay,
didn't know where they went.
He hated the system.
That's the system counters, all the infantry counters away.
Yep.
And if I'd happily pay somebody to do that.
Right.
Really all I want to do is play the game.
Yeah. And I heard of one of the UK players. He literally, when he finishes a game, he will just scoop up all the counters, just put he said so.
Are we allowed to say them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's not, just in case.
Okay.
But but you just sweep all the counters up into like a almost like a bucket, and then enjoy sourcing them all out a few weeks later, all in one go.
Well, that particular individual, I played for a year or so. We used to play online quite regularly. And he said that because he has a huge sort of basement room with a huge long table for gaming, and he said once a year, because his counters were getting into such a mess, he would literally just tip the whole lot into a big pile.
That's incredible.
And just sit and sort them all out.
Brilliant. Like the bathtub counters that were the legend of the bathtub. Okay, great. So that's our top 5 things. So today, the scenario that we're going to play. So I thought to start with we would play perhaps the top rated scenario on the scenario archive of the last 60 days.
Yes.
You suggested, as did another commenter about playing perhaps a night scenario, because that was the name of our vlog, if you like.
Yeah.
Just so happens that the top rated scenario is a night one. Yeah. So we're going to play Taking the Left Tip.
Which is a classic.
A classic that I haven't played. I don't know if you've played it.
I've certainly not played it. Okay. No, nor have I even looked at it.
Okay. So this scenario is only really made possible playing, certainly for me. I mean, we played Night Rules years ago, but I know you've played very recently. But it's only really made possible to me thanks to JR
Van. Get that in my bag.
Yeah, Van Mechelen's Night Rules Explained, which is just an amazing piece of work he did. And I printed this out literally 21 years ago. So, if these pages could tell stories, they'd be pretty dull. But it's.
I think it's in Journal 2 as well.
Is that right? It deserves to be reprinted.
What are they called now? The ones that come out at the moment?
Yeah, the journals. Yeah.
Okay, well, it came out before the
annuals.
Right, so I think it's in one of the annuals.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it absolutely deserves to be because. It's just fantastic, and if anybody is thinking about getting into the Night Rules, just to play a couple of scenarios, because I think the concern for me is that you have so much rules to read, and then you think, well, I played one scenario, and then I forgot it again. But you've certainly played a few for the campaign games. How have they gone?
The Pegasus Bridge runs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing the Germans against Martin. I had a really good time. We're really enjoying ourselves. Night 3. It went badly wrong for me as the Germans. So we're going to try Night 4. We haven't actually quite finished yet, but Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of Germans left.
Okay, and you're the Germans.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I kind of just try to hang on a little bit too long. I think it's an exercise in like trying to slip away from being shot at, really, and just trying to evade.
It's like a knight in Rotherham, or is he comes from somewhere out there, doesn't he? Somewhere up north. It's even weird. Just as tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, so night rules. I mean, if someone was to think about starting to play night rules, obviously, I think one thing I'd say, just before we jump into a little bit of specifics about what night rules are all about, is that if you look at people who have played night rules, every person I read a report from about them says how much they enjoyed it, and how much they, almost regret not getting into it earlier. So it's a stunning kind of thumbs up to the system, isn't it, for night rules?
I think it's a little bit of work to get it into your head, because there's several sort of subsystems that you need that kind of interrelate. And I remember when I first played, that really struggling with how things lose cloaking status and then concealment, and it's just so different at night. But yeah, it's a really interesting system.
So in a nutshell, we're going to see cloaking displays, and we'll talk about cloaking displays. Yeah. We've got the NVR, the range of visibility in the night.
Yes.
Of how far we can see each other, basically. Right. Routing is a lot easier. It's all low crawl.
It's only one hex per time.
That's right, yes. All low crawl, no failure to route, surrender and things like that. So it makes things almost almost easier. Exactly. We've got that interesting first star shell, first illuminating round process to go through. And we've got the great, one of those ASL rules, the jistering fire and straying.
Yeah, and straying.
Yeah. So we're going to see a bit of that. So the scenario today, you're going to be taking the attacking Americans.
Yep.
You're going to be trying to take a hill, and you're going to be trying to get squads off.
As I understand, yeah.
Okay, so I've done a setup, which I'm going to talk through for everybody back home. But before we do that, I think we should mention I have been practicing, and I want you to know that I've put a lot of work in this week. I'm going to let the guys back home see exactly what I've been up to, but for you, I'm going to show you now.
The defenders get to defend with 10% hit.
25%.
25% hit. 25% hit. Thank you. And indeed, under no move counters.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. So all my guys are going to be under no move. The other thing we should mention that we're doing here is playing with the Journal 11 errata, which is possibly the greatest benefit. So this scenario was a little bit unbalanced, not hugely unbalanced, but a little bit unbalanced in favour of the Americans. So they've given the Germans, I'm not lying here, 50% more squads.
Oh, right.
An extra LMG.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's a small number of squads anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, an extra leader, and extra minefields. Okay. So there's more than don't use the card. So for example, I have 2 more squads, an extra leader.
So you've got 8 squads.
Yes.
An additional leader to what's on here.
Yep. And 4 extra minefields.
Right.
4 extra points of minefields. So lots for you to enjoy.
Wow. Okay.
So
6.
I've got to try hard to lose this one, but I am going to try hard. So
excellent.
That's what we are. Okay, so this is my setup for taking the left tip. My dummy counters are here. The Germans get 8 dummy counters thanks to the knight. Everything will be concealed as well, and I also have 2 hip squads. So those will be this unit here, the 467, the light machine gun, and also the medium machine gun, along with the 467 as well, who are in foxhole. The heavy machine gun up here, and another light machine gun here will be in foxholes. And finally, there's a light machine gun back here that's covering as well. I've got 2 sets of minefields on either side of the board. I expect Martin to push heavily down one of those sides, and I'm expecting him to push into these dummy units here. I'm pretty certain that he knows that they will be dummies pretty much, but the point is that he's going to run into this and he's going to get himself caught up on the wire, which will be, again, hidden but at the start of the hill. The wire has to set up on the hill. The minefields obviously don't. And Martin will be trying to bring off at least 4 squad equivalents off this edge of the board, and then have more good order squads on top of the hills, as opposed to for me. So that's it. Let's see what he does.
So we set up. This is the force we have. They're all off board on these on this cloaking display. People who are not used to the knight. There's a counter here that represents A, and that represents these forces. Quite a considerable number of these are dummy counters. There isn't actually anything in them. Now, units that start cloaked can move quite quickly through the night. There is a risk of them straying, and that's likely to happen in this scenario. But you don't stray if you're adjacent to a road. A lot of these units are starting adjacent to a road. That's kind of deliberate. Even this one here, starting adjacent to a road, gives me a better chance of getting off in the right direction. Some of these dummies, you here is a dummy. We're going to be sending them forward first, try and stumble on the mines, try and find the wire, try and feel out the defences. There's a couple of big stacks here. So this one here is quite a big stack. It's going to move forward, take up firing positions. I'm going to go as far forward as I think I can before. Without actually kind of losing my cloaking status and becoming revealed. Hopefully, I'll reveal a few of their units, and we can build up some decent fire base to do some advancing fire. The whole idea really here is to use the massive American firepower, keep it close together, keep them grouped together, so we can smash any defence that we come across, and then infiltrate. Once we know where the mines are, we just go round them. Once we know where the wire is, just go around it. The whole thing is to get up onto the hill and to get 4 squad equivalents off the north edge. So other things I'm trying very, very hard to not give them a star shell opportunity to fire that first star shell. I really want to kind of just keep the whole battlefield in darkness for as long as I can and move forward. I mean, the ideal would be that he never sees me and I infiltrate onto the hill, infiltrate off, no star shells are fired. That would be an ideal. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but that's what we're aiming for. Okay, that's it. See you at the end of turn 1.
Okay. So just before we're about to start, this reminds me of the story we were going to tell earlier, which is scenarios all set up. You've turned up. The first day that we ever met. So
and to the square.
To the square.
from
Beyond Valor.
Beyond Valor. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So brilliant scenario. Loved it. I don't think it stood the test of time. I think
it doesn't get a lot of play. I don't think, does it?
Well, I think one of the problems is that the modern play now is much faster than it was back then. Time rolls slower. We had more time, less scenarios to play. Everyone now is rushing through scenarios, and so it's one of those scenarios probably where you can take a turn off, and actually it probably is a bit more balanced. But the story really was around how we were waiting for you to turn up, and I'd given my kids a very strict instructions of how to behave in front of strangers who we didn't know what you were like. We thought some guy might turn up in military dress and full regalia. So we were very strict with the kids, making sure they were all going to be on their best behaviour, put them in their nice clothes, like you did, no doubt. And then you turned up and everything was good, and we had a good time. And we started playing, and I set the board up to the square, 3 or 4 boards, I can't remember. Big setup, isn't it?
It's 3 or 4, yeah. It's big, very big.
And I put perspex on top of it for no reason at all. Absolutely no reason. Usually perspex, I like it if you've got a wobbly board or you've got some overlays there you want to hold on.
And this was the days before the starter kit boards, I think. Right, so we would have been using these sorts of boards.
Absolutely, exactly that. And so we set up and we played, and then everything. And I think we just finished lunch maybe, and we'd come in and
you had a cup of coffee.
That's right. Yeah, we did have a cup of coffee. And my eldest daughter, who was maybe 4,
I think she was old. Yeah, maybe
4 or 5.
Yeah.
She came in and was very excited to see what was going on and what happened, and proclaimed, "Look at this exciting scenario." Obviously, I was very excited. I thought she was going to become a squad leader player. Managed to just knock over a whole cup of coffee over the board. And to this day, we think that there was a guardian angel or something, because the coffee went around every...
It's like fingers of advancing, the Germans advancing into Russia at the beginning of the war. Little fingers like that. But
not one casualty.
Not one counter got wet.
And the problem with having seen you for the first time, I can't shout and scream at my child.
Did a little bit,
well, a little bit, but not as much as I would have done.
Not as much as you
had you do it today. And funnily enough, we saw a very similar situation with older people in a tournament. I don't know if you're going to remember this.
I remember this.
So we were watching. We came back late, perhaps from the pub one night in Bournemouth, maybe Blackpool, and one of the guys, I won't name him, was demonstrating to some girls or some ladies who had turned up to the hotel.
I don't think I was there.
You weren't?
I don't think I was there.
You weren't there?
No.
Oh, I get to tell you the story then.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you were there. But anyway, so he was demonstrating to the player. I'll have to tell you off the camera who this was. But he was demonstrating to the ladies about this game, and clearly they want nothing to do with squad leader. It's 11 o'clock at night, but they are, showing willing, and they sit down and they start to push counters around, and she manages to knock over a pint of Coke all over the boards and everything, and the transition from what was, this is going quite well, to, oh my God, and it's not even my boards as well. It completely ruined. So we don't have drinks at tables at all now. We try to avoid that. There's a lesson in there for us all.
Absolutely.
That's the closest my daughter's ever got to playing squad leader. I don't know about your children, but
Owen played when he was 4. He was fascinated by it, and he wasn't a natural.
Right.
He was only 4, to be fair. But
did he just beat you once or twice? Is it?
probably 4 to 6 age-wise, because I remember he could actually calculate shots, like simple shots and things like that. And I remember playing one game with him, and he had a hip gun, and he understood that the hip gun was to blow up the tanks.
Yeah.
And I remember I was moving it, and it was obviously going right in front of him, hiding in the grain, because he was sort of like.
I'm exactly the same. There's no difference. You'll be walking up to that wire. I'll be doing the same thing.
Zero poker face. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think around about 6, he just suddenly realised that it just wasn't cool at all.
Yeah. We lost out on that bit of our capacity. All right. Okay. So we're all ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop in at every end of each player turn. We'll give a quick commentary, and we're also going to do, because we did this once before on a forum experiment, didn't we? We took a scenario. And at the end of each turn, we gave ourselves
percentage.
That's right, yeah, like how much we thought we were going to win, and then we kind of graphed it to see, at what point.
I don't remember doing that.
You've got some kind of dementia coming on, I think. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's get cracking.
Yeah, brilliant. How do you think it's going?
It's going better than it went last week.
Sorry.
I mean, I think the least eventful turn of ASL I've ever played.
Definitely.
No criticism at all. The funniest thing was we had one unit stray 6x's in completely
the wrong direction.
Yeah. Which somewhat we could question his motivation. So yes, I mean your Americans have moved up alongside, and in some instances just past the front German defenders.
That's right, and it may very well be their dummy. Obviously, I don't know if they're dummies at the moment. They may very well be. You haven't chosen to fire yet, right. So it's just been very quiet, and all your units are stunned and no move counters. There's been no shots fired.
So I think in terms of if I was to say at this point where I think it's going, to me, I must be a little bit disadvantaged here because you've had a free move, nothing's revealed, you've not walked into any mines. You've gone straight past all my mines, really.
That is very likely to change, isn't it?
Depending on where I put them.
It does depend where you put them.
Okay.
Yeah. And where I move.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we'll move on to turn 2.
Okay. Brilliant.
Okay. All right. So turn 2.
Into turn 2. Yeah.
Stuff's happened.
Yes, it's certainly kicked off a little bit. We made a couple of kind of rules errors, didn't we?
Slips.
Yeah. Slips. Yeah.
Happy mistakes.
Yeah.
So we missed a couple of strain rolls, but nothing serious. And then,
although we had quite a bit of strain,
you had a bit of strain.
I had a bit of strain.
You strayed.
Yeah.
And we've also had we missed. So the German defenders weren't firing star shells at the cloaked units, which we now believe.
We now think we could have been doing. Yeah.
So we had a cloaked unit go over a minefield, which we weren't sure whether mines explode or the mines go off in the dark.
My best guess is that we played it right, but we decided that you asked me to reveal a real unit. Obviously, I couldn't, but you had to play something, albeit on the concealed side.
So we have an unknown minefield there, and we've had the cloaking units revealed wire as well, which has been quite good. It's been quite nice. We found a couple of wire locations.
It's been really interesting how I was feeling really sort of confident until you opened fire on the 6 morale American troops.
Right.
Straight away, there's like a big stack of broken, partially ELR'd units there. It's one of the. Having those big firepower stacks is really good, but of course they're really vulnerable, aren't they?
Exactly right. Yeah. And your fire has come back and has broken me. And I think this is one of the big changes with night rules, isn't it? That the broken units aren't quite so vulnerable as they would be.
Keep sneaking off until they're quite hard to bring back though, because if you don't actually roll lower than your reverse morale, you don't even lose the DM.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
So but you can still bring them back in one go if you get the right rolls. So.
Okay. And your mortars have now been revealed and are starting to have a little effect, but they're certainly getting their aim in. Although you've said to not hold on to the acquisition, so you're probably going to move them. So we haven't put the acquisition markers.
No, I couldn't keep. Well, because as soon as the star shell disappears, I'd lose the acquisition.
Oh, sorry. I
wasn't electing to not acquire them.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, so feelings right now, 2 turns in.
Okay, so I think it's not much better than 50%. I feel like I'm doing okay, but I've got 4 stacks, in fact, wandering off all over the board that have failed to sort of go in the right direction.
Right.
I feel like I've done a lot, but actually it's mostly revealing your dummies, which I think I've revealed all of your dummies now.
Yep.
And I've got a little bit of a sense of your defences, haven't I? And obviously this group here have routed away. They've got a machine gun, haven't they, on either.
Right.
So that's a significant break.
Yep.
I think I killed a half squad in close combat
in
here.
Possibly the most unfair close combat. An ambush with 18 firepower.
18 versus 2 half squad.
9
to 1. 9 to 1. It's not even off the scale, Dave. Look, it's not even off the scale. 10 to 1 is.
Okay, all right. I should think myself lucky. Okay, I rolled my snake eyes on your concealed unit.
Yes.
I could tell that you weren't worried when you weren't even worried about that.
I was very relaxed about that.
Very happy. Okay, so 50-50 maybe at the moment.
I think it's still 50.
I think you've kind of found a chink in the armour. I think that's one part. But yes, your strain is effective.
Straight away now, though, things are difficult. You've got this unit that's moved out of this foxhole here. I've got a lot of firepower here, but I can't see you.
Yep.
I know I can. Where am I going to move?
The minefields.
So I'm going to try and avoid those.
Okay.
Where am I going to move? Don't think I've been in DD8 yet, so I don't know for sure.
Okay.
If that's free.
All right.
I don't think I've been in DD8. So, yeah, I've got to think about how I deal with this unit, and I think it's in quite a good position.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Okay, so turn 3.
Yeah.
On we go.
Right then, Dave. End of turn 3.
Turn 3.
Okay.
Progress is been made by the Americans.
It's quite slow. It's much harder. I was feeling very confident. Like sort of, I don't know, turn and a half ago or something.
Right. Okay. Like you didn't sound it when you when I asked you. You said about 50%. That's you're very confident.
Yeah, I know, but it felt like everything was still cloaked. I was like running around, running rings around you and stuff like that. And now the sort of defence is sort of, solidified, didn't it? So turn 3, I was like trying to
You've definitely got a foothold, didn't you? You've got a foothold in that kind of wire
that's
line.
Right. So this foothold here broke this, and you held out there last turn that you tried to sort of move away from it because there's all these Americans there.
It's CC6,
very heavy firepower. So kind of blasting you away from that forward defence line, I suppose, which is good. Kind of concerns me. I haven't broken or killed many of your units yet.
Right.
You've got a lot of your forces still intact, isn't it? 6.5 squads.
Yep.
I've still got a lot to do, so I feel quite good about taking the top of the hill.
Yep.
And dominating that, having more squads there than you.
Yep.
But I've got to get 4 whole squads off. That seems like a lot. That's still a lot. That's a lot of work to do to get that to happen.
Yep. You killed one of my leaders with the sniper. He was wounded.
He was wounded 7-0, wasn't he?
Do you know what? He was a hero in my eyes, but he didn't last out. Yeah. My hips have been revealed now.
Yes,
you found almost all the wire.
Yeah, the dummies are gone.
You've only found 1 minefield.
I think that Dave's been sneaky and put them on the roads back here. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
And I only just thought of that.
Would that have been a good play or a bad play? What do you think?
I think it's probably a good play because if I'm going to have to go over them if I'm in a rush. If I'm not in a rush, you can potentially find another way around. But you've got something up on this hill here, potentially protecting from me sort of running around up on that hill.
And this guy knows nothing back here. He knows nothing about war.
He doesn't know the war's on, does he?
Yeah, exactly. He's writing postcards and everything.
Yeah.
So actually, I say that. I think he might be able to see this guy here from the. So maybe the
they can see each other. Yeah. They can.
So okay, all right. So the move's off there now.
Yeah, yes, because that was illuminated until just.
That's right. Yeah, our very first signature counter, the illuminating round.
The illuminating round they're so big, aren't they? They're just like 6 hexes. I mean, in a smallish game like this, it's almost like the whole relevant.
We joked that we could just turn it into a daytime scenario from that point if you put the ball out there. So I mean, I think you're making good progress. I think I'm not in great position. I'm not in a great position at the moment.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're not in foxholes anymore. You're now in the open. You're a bit more vulnerable.
And this is one of the issues, isn't it? We're trying to defend in foxholes. When you start to fall back, you give the foxholes to the attacker.
Yes.
Who wants to.
They're even helpful to the attacker when you're in close combat, aren't they? Because you can advance into them and gain benefit from them as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So. Okay, so in terms of, do you still
I think it's nudging my way a little bit.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But I wouldn't, because I've still got a lot to do. I would say no more than
65,
maybe 60 to push.
Okay,
so I'd have gone 55.
Okay, 45. All right. So I'm hoping your straying rolls are going to start to peter out now. You've lost your you've got you can see most of the units now, so that's going to be preventing any further of those. I guess we've got to just roll a bit lower, and
that would be great.
And hold on, we got a pinned unit now on top of the foxholes, which hasn't helped. But let's see. Let's see what happens for turn 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So turn 4.
Into turn 4. Okay. Very interesting. I mean, it's been brutal for you.
It has been brutal. Yeah, we had a KIA that took off two squads on random selection, but I mean, to be fair, you were firing with 5 stacks of.
I was all around them, wasn't I?
Six plus. So into what's that? AA. I know it's BB7. Was all pretty brutal. All that's left in that stack now is one broken leader and two machine guns.
Also managed to break the heavy machine gun group, which tried to escape.
Yeah, and they were a little bit unlucky, I think.
I agree.
That was.
It wasn't an amazing shot.
8 up 1 shot that just taken out the whole stack.
Yeah. But this group have been really hanging on. I find everything at those.
Yeah, exactly. And, so AA8.
And I think that's a pain because it's my turn now. I've got to prep fire. It's going to slow me up. I really need to be, getting through these places now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So you've got 3 turns left.
Yeah. 4.
4 turns left.
Because it's
your last turn. Your last turn as well. Yeah. So you've got some time.
A little bit of time. Yeah. But I've got a lot to do now. I think the hilltop. It feels like that's falling to me. Really. That's mine, isn't it? I think the victory is the whole hill though. So even these units are counting for yours.
I think it's level 2 hills. Level 2.
It might be.
So I actually think it may be these ones here as well at the back.
Level 2. Yes. So no, it's on hill 5. Oh no, it's not, is it? So you're absolutely right. Yeah. So if you're on these hilltops,
that's right. Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah. So
okay. So I captured.
You captured the
first part of the hill, if you
the
like.
tits. Yeah, you captured. The nipple. You've captured.
I think the nipple is this bit. This is the nipple.
You would. You usually better.
Yet to go. Yeah. So I think I've got a lot to do, and it felt very hard for you that term.
Yep.
And I definitely made lots of progress, and I've eliminated or dealt with lots of units.
You found another minefield with another cloaked dummy unit.
Yeah. But I don't think I'm necessarily winning this. I mean, I don't think I'd go any further than 55.
I'm going to give you 70-30.
Would you really?
Yeah, of course.
Because you've got to get off. I mean, I don't know where the other two.
Yep.
Mines
and you're definitely on the way to.
And I'm assuming. I mean, they could be 12s. That might be all you've got. I doubt it, but it could be. It might be they're on the other side in a similar position, and I'm going to miss them altogether. But they could well be on these roads.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to sort of like send something off down there to find out if the way is clear. But you also, of course, you've got blocking forces now. I think it really helps me you haven't got the heavy firing down the back of the hill as I'm trying to exit.
Yeah, so I've got. I mean, the next rally phase is quite critical here with the heavy trying to.
And I can anywhere off the north edge, isn't it? So I can go through the woods potentially.
Yeah, the brush.
And it might brush, of course. That's right. Of course, it's slow because you get the extra point at night for going through the concealment terrain, unless you're cloaked. And none of my units are cloaked.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's really going to
small victory. I like to think for me, small victory. You've got you broke one mortar. You've left it alone now. You've run off with it. My sniper woke up. It's a good lesson. I didn't have the sniper counter out even. That was so with a sniper activation of 6, and yet no.
What did my sniper do? My sniper killed something.
Your sniper did take out the wounded leader.
That's right.
So only wounded.
Yeah. Oh, well, so it's exciting. Yeah. I'm not convinced it's in the bag.
What I'm enjoying is that it plays quickly now. I mean, although it's still quite messy, there's a lot going on, but I've got effectively 4 or 5 stacks. They haven't got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Routing units are really quick. The routing rules here are really quick. It's just one unit, 1 hex away from any unit. So that's it. That's all you've got to worry about. So it's a nice, refreshing change. It feels almost a gentler game than in the daytime. I was thinking, if this scenario was played in the daytime, what effect the Germans could have on the advancing Americans?
Absolutely.
It would be brutal. But with the night, they really are able to, like I say, go through. So turn 5.
Turn 5. Let's go for it.
So Martin, it's that time of the game. So good.
We called it early again.
We have. Don't say early. I mean, it's late. I was worried about you.
Later.
You need to get up to.
Yeah, no, I've got to get up for work. Yeah,
so
it's very, very appreciative.
I'm going to give it to you at this point.
That's very kind of you. Very generous.
Yeah, I mean,
it looked pretty grim.
It was very grim. It was very grim. So, okay. I mean, you can see the board. It's. I mean, there's not a lot to say about the Germans' position. The X4 location. The leader rallied, didn't bring the squad back, and I think that was the end of the game. Really, we had a melee in W7. You threw the half squad against my full squad.
Just hoping to lock you in melee.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good tactic. And
killed everybody.
We killed everything. And that then consequently leaves the whole of the American left flank able to
the
run
west
off.
side, isn't it? It's completely open.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you have got a couple of squads here that are in good order, and they could probably make it a little bit.
This side held up, and ironically, it's the side you didn't run into the mines. So it was interesting. But yeah, you've punched through. You've taken the hill. You're going to run off. If not 4, maybe 8.
I've got 4 turns.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be absolutely fine.
I suppose I haven't. I've got 3 turns, but
yeah, no,
I can get off in 1 turn from some of these units.
You're
2
absolutely
turns.
fine.
Yeah.
So what went wrong for the Germans?
Well, we were just talking before we were on camera, weren't we, about the American firepower and just how relentless it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really cool having the protection of the cloaking, because you can have big stacks and you don't know if they're stacks or dummies.
Yep. And you're going to push the dummies.
And I'm going to push the dummies. So you took lots of shots of dummies,
yep.
and then there was there was 3 squads right behind it, kind of thing, ready to sort of like do the advanced pressure. So that's really good. But once they're revealed, once they're no longer cloaked, you've got to separate them, because that's 6 morale. That happened over here, didn't it? It just made a total mess of a whole platoon.
That's right. Yeah.
And then it's lots of 6-1 shots coming back from the Americans, but even that's enough, isn't it?
And you were getting 4 or 5 of them sometimes in 1 turn.
Exactly, against 1 unit.
And you just can't stand up to it. And your dice weren't particularly hot. There was nothing,
not especially
can't complain at all about that. But you can only, I was rolling well for certainly a couple of those squads, and I was passing morale checks, and just couldn't really stand up to it all.
It seems to me, just thinking about it now, that perhaps one wouldn't want to be too far forward. Perhaps I mean it's so obvious to protect.
But you come through so fast with those cloaking units that I felt that we had to kind of at least try to strip those cloaking units, because otherwise, there's a great that great push.
Otherwise, they're all up here.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And there was points where we thought, well, okay, so I definitely should have got the star shells off earlier. I think that was one thing. Other than that, I guess it's a tricky. The scenario without the extra 2 German squads, which definitely I think you need. I think the Germans definitely need it. It still feels like you've got a very wide board edge. You didn't push through the middle, as I did expect you to kind of come through. And what I did was put the dummy units here to try. I know you were going to push into dummies, and I thought, okay, well, I'll try and kind of trap you into the middle here. But the problem is that this board has nowhere to run, does it? With the woods being brush. Every time you fall back, there's going to be a spot where you can see me. Yeah. And I just couldn't.
And that's right. You couldn't fall back from these positions without being far from the directions.
Yeah, exactly. You'd kind of enveloped them both.
Yeah.
So it's a great scenario for learning night rules.
Really perfect. Yeah. And it's moderately balanced, isn't it? I mean, it's well now. Well, I don't know. In terms of raw and stuff.
Yeah. So
it never has been.
Yeah. So it's a little bit favours the American still. But it probably will, certainly with the journal errata, I think it's going to
help to balance it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think when we play a night scenario, we're not playing really for this stage. We're not playing to see who's going to win. We're actually kind of exploring the rules. We're kind of saying, I know you've played a few night scenarios recently, but
I mean, I'm playing you today. I realised that me and Martin have been playing a few things wrong, and we tripped up a little bit. It was to your disadvantage at the beginning. I think being a bit slow to fire the first star shell, we slightly misunderstood the rules, and I say slightly, quite significantly misunderstood when you could fire the first star shell, which allowed me a lot more movement, I think, at the beginning than I should have had. And
in terms of if people want to learn night scenarios, did you think going through the night rules, the JR?
Yeah, I mean, this would be a really good scenario. There's quite a few other, reasonably modest sized scenarios that you can play. I can't think off the top of my head what they are. You can go through these rules, and there's also an after action report of an Italian campaign in one of the journals.
All right. Okay.
And that kind of leads you through a lot of this stuff as well.
Nothing to be scared of, though, is there really? And I keep making the point that routing becomes so easy because of the kind of the simplification of the routing rules, that all the extra effort for everything else actually it made it relatively straightforward. I think everyone gets very worried about the line of sights and everything like that. So we had the night vision went up one.
Yes.
The NVR.
It actually doesn't feel that far different to daylight once you've got a big NVR and all the cloaking counters and no movement counters come off.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. I think when I first played Night, I did find it difficult because there's quite a lot of things to remember. Like you've got to try and remember straying, of course. You've got to try and remember the jitter fire rules. You've got all the movement stuff. So it does take a little bit of time for that to become intuitive. I'm not sure that it's intuitive at the moment, but. And also the star shells, and when is it a good time to illuminate the battlefield, and when is it not a good time to illuminate the battlefield. So there's a lot of things to get your head around, but it's a lot of fun when you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was an exciting scenario.
It was, and
fast moving, and
there's no ASL's bad ASL, is it? I mean, it's always good. So definitely nothing to be scared of, nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if we play another night scenario just next week, but I think, I'm quite happy to play them. I think. The problem is you just keep playing them regularly, isn't it, to try and keep those rules in your mind rather than to kind of forget everything.
I find that with a lot of the rules, like the desert rules, I've played a few times and really enjoyed those, but I certainly don't play them long enough for it to be kind of like.
Are we going to try desert game next time?
We could do.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a think about it. Okay, we're not completely convinced. We'll have a chat about it.
That's a no, isn't it? You're going to chastise me off camera. Okay.
Yeah, I love amphibious assaults. We've done amphibious assault.
We should have another reenactment of Gavin's Gamble with the with the boats when they were going backwards and they were crazy. They were going crazy. Yeah. They were good.
And a little bit of craziness here with people running in the wrong direction.
We did, and we talked about the issue of the mortar guys that had been firing on this target, and then suddenly, when all the targets go out of sight and they start to running up for the exit, there's a potential chance for them to turn around backwards,
opposite direction,
and just go. Okay, excellent. So next week, potentially.
Well, hopefully, we'll have to work that out, but hopefully.
Okay, and we'll think about maybe top 5 scenarios that we've played. Which is a nice, easy top 5 list to do. Have to think about that. And until then, I guess thank you for your combat. Thank you for your comment. So until then, thank you very much for watching. And like, subscribe, all the usual stuff that us YouTubers now have to say.
Yeah.
And see you next time.
Bye-bye.